Next comic is so funny. She was a finalist in the new comedy club, Nate Jackson's Super Funny Comedy Club, the funniest motherfucker competition. She's a real delight. Please make some noise for the hilarious Cheri Hardman. Keep it going. Thank you so much.
Hey, you guys! Can you see me down here? I know, I'm like big as a house. You can't miss me. Well, I'm like really glad you guys are patient. You know, I have a scooter. I have to use a stool. You know, I need some accommodations, and that's okay. Because I got some disabilities, and sometimes I like to take pain pills. But you know, doctors these days are getting really stingy with the refills. I gotta be creative. Well, then I noticed that the pills that the vet gives my dog, same ones my doctor gives me. And I wasn't sure if it was safe or not, but I took some. And I don't know if there's a difference in the human and the canine formula, but since I started taking those dog pills, my husband's ass has never smelled better. It's delightful. Now, a lot of it has to do with aging, and you know, people age differently. You know, some people get really small and frail, and some people just continue to grow like myself. Like at this point, I don't even think I have a G-spot anymore. You know, it's more like an H-I-J-K LMNOP spot. I talked to my doctor about having weight loss surgery, but he said that I had to lose 30 pounds first. I'm like, I have to lose weight before I can lose weight. Like, first of all, that doesn't make any sense. But secondly, it seems kind of cruel. You know, it's like we have the solution, but we're not going to give it to you just yet. It's like, we have your prosthetic limb over here. Now all you have to do is hop on over here and get it. And so I thought, well, I'll try weight loss hypnosis. And that has worked somewhat. But we do it over the phone, and then he records them and sends them to me. And then I'm supposed to listen to him every night when I go to bed. But it kind of interferes with the love life, when every night you have to decide, am I going to listen to weight loss hypnosis, or am I going to make love to my husband, right? So one night we decided, why don't we just combine the two? So we had sex while we were listening to the hypnosis. Yeah, my husband said he really enjoyed it. He said he felt like there was somebody there encouraging him the whole time. You're going deeper and deeper. I turned 60 years old this year. Thank you, yeah. That's a big one. Like, you know, and I don't even know how I got this old. You know, because time goes by really fast. Seems like just yesterday, I was getting finger banged at a Styx concert. Today, I got finger banged at Denny's. Yeah, it's not the same. I just told him I wanted an early bird special. I didn't know. No, and then the other day, like, well, okay, so because I'm a big girl, and because I'm getting older, I'm concerned about my health. You know, at least twice a week I have this thought. Like, is this a really good orgasm, or am I having a stroke? Then the other day, somebody tried to give me an exercise bike. I was like, no thanks, I'm married. I already know what it's like to ride something that never wants to go anywhere. I got okay boomered the other day. Most of you guys are young enough to know what that means. But I'll fill in the older people. So the younger generation has this phrase that they use when they think that you're being like a dumb old person, basically, you know. And they'll just roll their eyes and say, okay, boomer. Well, I don't need a lecture from someone that thinks Fleetwood Mac is a person, you know. Somebody that wasn't even around and isn't even aware that Michael Jackson used to be black, you know. And they always have some dumb name like Kyler. Sorry if you're here, Kyler, I don't know. No, but Kyler doesn't know shit because Kyler hasn't been through what I've been through. And I bet Kyler never had to look for a quarter so he could go to a payphone to call his drug dealer. That's how we did it back in the day, because you did not call the dealer from your house, and you had to talk in code, because we thought that the DEA wasn't smart enough to figure out what we meant when we asked if Mary Jane is home tonight. And then you'd have to go to the drug dealer's house, and they were always like kind of creepy, and they always had a creepy pet. You know, like a snake or a tarantula, or even worse, a ferret. No, but I think really, like, I don't want to fight with the younger generation. I think we just need to learn to understand each other, you know, because we have different experiences. And, you know, like, and you guys have done some wonderful things, like the Me Too movement. You know, that's really important that a lot of people have been able to speak up. And, you know, I think that's fantastic. But what you guys don't realize is that people my age, we've had to stop and rethink our whole lives. And that's a little bit confusing. If I want to spend an afternoon, you know, lie back and reminisce about some past loves, when I look back now, they all seem a little bit rapey. Was he the one that got away, or the one that got away with it? Is my husband my soulmate, or just my most persistent perpetrator? Am I madly in love, or do I have Stockholm Syndrome? I don't even know anymore. But it was a different time back then. We were taught that we were supposed to tell the guy no, and then he was supposed to talk us into it. And you know where we learned that? We learned that from our grandmothers. You ever go to your grandma's house, try to tell her you're not hungry? She's having none of that. She's going to give it to you. She's going to give it to you anyway, and grandma's going to give it to you good. But there's no point really in being mad at grandma this late in her life. You can change the world by being your own kind of grandma when it's your turn. You know, be the kind of grandma where no means no. And it's going to be easy because nobody wants to eat your vegan hummus bullshit anyway. You guys are great. I see most people are drinking, yeah. I like to drink myself. I like alcohol better than marijuana. I do. I got nothing against weed. It's legal. Do what you want. But how many times in one day does a person need to lose their keys? You know, at least when I'm drinking, the only thing I forget is that I'm married. Not my husband's favorite joke, by the way. But he's not here because he doesn't like to go anywhere, right? No, but he knows I'm a flirt, you know, so if we go somewhere together and he has to go to the bathroom or something, he just puts a coaster on my head. That's his way of saying, that's mine, don't put anything in it. My husband's a really great guy. He'd never been with a big woman before when he met me, so he looked at me like I was a unicycle. No, he knew he wanted to ride it, he just wasn't quite sure how. He's doing a lot better though. Now he hardly ever falls off. So I keep thinking it's time for my life, but I don't know. My husband's a great guy, but he does have a habit of scratching himself a lot. Like if he got murdered and they were scraping under his fingernails for evidence, they would say his balls definitely did it. And I'm sorry, but balls are ridiculous. I told him that, he accused me of ball shaming him. I said, why don't you have the common decency to be ashamed of those things on your own? I'm glad you guys are still laughing because sometimes the men clam up here. And I don't want to body shame anybody or make them feel bad because I understand. You know, it's like my vagina's like an eclipse. You know, it causes a lot of excitement whenever it's around, but you probably don't want to look directly at it. And balls are just wrinkled, bloated sacks, just hanging around moping, waiting for someone to pet them like a pair of neglected basset hounds. At least a penis can stand up and be proud, right? But the balls are just like two homely trolls, hanging out with their hot friend. thinking maybe they're gonna get some action because they just happen to be in the right place. It's like the penis is James Franco, the balls are Seth Rogen and Jonah Hill. All right, my time's almost up. But before I go, I always like to... The world's changed a lot since I was a little girl. We weren't even allowed to wear pants to school. That's how much the world has changed. And, you know, I had a teacher, like, shame me, telling me that my voice carries. And I carried that, like, as a bad thing for years. Well, now, if this mic went out, you guys could still hear me, so she needs to apologize, first of all. You know? But really, nowadays people say I should be more ladylike, I shouldn't be so dirty, and I should not talk about my vagina. But I see it as a measure of how far we've come as women. I'm sorry for the lecture, but I gotta say this. That I can get up here and say whatever I want. So I always like to end with some vagina jokes, all right? I know you young people get it. I don't know if you'll get this one, though. My vagina's like a casserole. If I put it in front of my husband, he damn well better eat it. My vagina's like a hula hoop. Not because it's big and round, but because it used to be really popular. Now it's a little bit harder to find. And to be honest, my husband can only work it like 2 minutes at a time. My vagina's like Zoom. It got a lot more action during the pandemic, but if you want to put more than 3 people in there, you got to pay extra. My vagina's like a turtle. It might be old, bald, and ugly, but it can still snap. And being in my vagina is like going to Disneyland for the first time when you're in your 30s. You're excited to see what all the fuss has been about, but you're kind of pissed that all your friends got there first. And last but not least, my vagina's like a remote control. Because my husband's always got his hands on it, and he thinks he's the boss of it. But when he's not around, I can work it just fine all by myself. Thanks, you guys.